And Frank Reich is officially the head coach of the Carolina Panthers. Frank Reich was introduced today. No weird callbacks with his original Panthers jersey in 1995 or any of that stuff. Giglio, I think you described it to me as big college coach energy, 4 pillars, that kind of stuff for success. At least that's better than a Jay-Z quote about 7 years to become an overnight sensation.
The truth of the matter is, with Frank Reich, we don't have to worry about his pillars. We don't have to worry about his principles. We know his track record in the NFL. Yeah. And at 61 years old, he has a proven track record. I mean, you can interpret the Colts in any way you want. Maybe that's a Rorschach test. But to me, he had a successful stint with the Colts. He did good work with a rotating, revolving door at quarterbacks. And I think he is going to be successful with the Carolina Panthers in spite of some kind of wonky moments today that I just kind of observed as like, really, dude? Like, come on. The pillars. What do we got? Nealon's maxims here. Like, come on, man. We're not. We don't need the whole Bobby Bowden sermon about religion and football and everything else. Just go out there and coach the team, scheme it up, make it work. Okay. This ain't your first rodeo. Like it was like a second marriage. It's almost like somebody getting remarried and inviting everybody back to the second wedding. Like, come on, man. We saw this once.
It's like, hold up.
We don't need all this.
Hold up. You have a gift registry for this one?
Yeah.
No,
come on.
No. We ain't doing the gift registry again.
You're 61, bro.
Come on now. You got everything you need. You don't need another fondue pot that you'll never use or an ice cream maker that you might use once. Like, let's not do that.
For effort. Like, don't get me wrong. And when we ask, these questions of like, well, what did they sell the owner on? Like, what was the presentation? Well, now we know.
And that's what I was going to get at. I think what today was with Frank Reich talking about his things is kind of a peek behind the scenes of what he used to get the job. Is it a much more polished, I've been around the NFL block a few times version of what Matt Rule was trying to sell? I mean, maybe. I mean, I don't really know. So what I thought was kind of funny is that today is Matt Rule's birthday.
Happy birthday.
47 years old.
Nice.
And they talked crap about him today on his birthday. How dare they?
It's unfortunate.
How dare they? Basically, the mistake of hiring a CEO type coach, which we'll get to some of Tepper's comments a little bit later on. But back to Frank Reich, the new head coach of the Carolina Panthers. What Giglio was referring to is the standard of winning of what he wants. Here he goes on to describe that.
The first is a relentless pursuit to get better every day. We got to have a relentless pursuit to get better every day. Nothing can ever get in the way of that. We're committed to that, to push each other in every way. We got to get better every day. No one has all the answers. We work together, we collaborate, and we push each other to be the best. The second one is that excellence comes through competition. We're going to compete in everything we do. In meetings, in the weight room, on the practice field. That's the way you get to be the best. You have to compete against one another and bring out the best. And then, of course, we'll enjoy competing against the opponents. That'll be a lot of fun, and put that on full display, right? And then, lastly, it's going to be about the team. The team. We will celebrate. We got great individual players. They'll hit many individual milestones and goals, and we'll celebrate all those. But the team always comes first. That's what we're going to be about.
So that's Frank Reich, new head coach of the Carolina Panthers. As we've referenced a couple times, David Tepper going in the opposite direction of what he sought out in Matt Rule, the hotshot college coach making his way to the NFL. You're going to go in the opposite direction. You're going to go in the direction of somebody that has been around the block a few times. And as you go through this process and you've had your various stops and you've been a head coach and you end up getting fired and you had this other opportunity to be a head coach, it's essentially version 2.0, which is what Frank Reich said during the press conference today and kind of reevaluating things after he got fired in Indy.
In the NFL, you're going to have ups and downs. You're going to have successes and failures. We had 4 years of good success, and then you go through 1 year where there's a struggle, and now you have a chance to reflect on that. And it's like getting an app. I like to talk to the players like this. In apps you get version 1, then there's version 2. I feel like this provides me an opportunity to debug some things, make things better. Now come out with version 2.0 or version 3.0. It's better. It's cleaned up. The important thing is, though, that you're starting with a good product to start, which I know we are. So now we clean some things up. Like I said, staff, vision of the offense, complementary defense, and that high level of special teams play. all the areas that that we're really going to focus on a team. And then how to stay true to the process, manage expectations in a way, keep our team focused on the right things, and then keep challenging and pushing. Ultimately, it's got to come from the players. The head coach and the coaches can only do so much. The leadership has to come from the locker room, right? I got a role that I got to play, and I'll do my best to play that role. But ultimately, that leadership's got to come from the players as well.
You know how I know Frank Reich is not extremely online? You know how he's got that big boomer energy based on the discussion about apps getting better? That's not true. That is absolutely not true. Just because the software is upgraded doesn't mean it's actually gotten better. I can point to several instances where they've, quote unquote, upgraded things and it's actually been worse, and I want the old version back, okay? That triggered my inner nerd. Sorry. Oh, yeah, you upgraded. No. You want to look at my Twitter app? It sucks now, okay? So it's not bigger and better. So no, we're not doing that. All right, last thing that I thought was interesting, and this is probably more Charlotte-centric and Panthers-centric, and maybe one of the reasons why Frank Reich ended up getting this gig and why they've been leaning into his tie to the Panthers. Remember, he was their first quarterback. He played 3 games, and he was benched for Kerry Collins. They brought up keep pounding. Keep pounding is the mantra from Sam Mills. That's why they have the drum, and it was something that it was kind of under the radar, but there were a lot of people pointing to the fact that Matt Rule wanted to create his own culture with the Panthers and scrap the stuff that people had come to know about the Carolina Panthers. So Frank Reich was asked about Sam Mills and what keep pounding means to him.
I mean, Sam, captain of our team, I mean, he was the lifeblood of our team. That first year, we knew that we were having a special experience, and Sam was at the center of that. You knew when you walked and Sam was in the room, you knew it. You felt his presence. You felt his leadership. He had very high standards. I think that's what stands out to me most about my memories of Sam. His standards were just so high personally. He drove himself, his work ethic, how he prepared, how he practiced, how he played. And then it just exemplified that keep pounding, which to me ultimately is about a sign of being committed to the process. That even though there's going to be some bumps along the road, if we keep pounding and we keep believing, we're going to get it right.
That's Frank Reich, again, new head coach of the Carolina Panthers, and I would describe that, Giglio, as some catnip for the city of Charlotte, catnip for longtime Panthers fans, and that's what you should do. But all the warm fuzzies aside, the idea of winning the press conference, which I'm sure a lot of people, and you just made a grimace face, which I agree with you.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
No one's going to remember today. I remember Matt Rule was introduced, and everyone was so excited that he was coming here and blah, 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 blah. It doesn't matter. Can you coach? Can you win? Can you scheme some guys open? Can you remember that DJ Moore's on your team? Can you remember that you picked up Deontay Foreman in free agency for a reason? I mean, listen, Steve Wilkes picked the lowest hanging fruit in the history of the world. Now it's time to build on that and use the actual players on your team. Scott Fitterer, by the way, maybe start making your money, make some picks that, Ike Ekwonu was a great start, but, you got to get some players that are going to make a difference. You look at the Giants making the playoffs this year. I saw a great Dan Wetzel column today about how the Chiefs have basically hit on 21 of their last 22 draft picks. That's insane. But that's how you get yourself into the last 4 of the tournament. That's how you get yourself, as Mark Godfrey used to like to say, on top of the big box.
These are hit or miss propositions, and maybe it's a byproduct of you and I having done this for too long of a time. Maybe it's the area that we're in where we've cycled through coaches, and everybody leaves a press conference feeling, oh man, I want to go out there and play. I'm ready to strap on a helmet.
He's perfectly competent. He has a great track record.
You talk about draft picks, you talk about the players you already have. To me, the one thing that Frank Reich has to get right, any coach coming to the Carolina Panthers has to get right, is a quarterback. It's as simple as that. And Reich was asked about that, in terms of what they need to get the QB situation right. Of all the people who would know better as it relates to how quickly your job is on the line if you keep missing on the quarterback, it's Frank Reich who had that issue in Indianapolis.
You got to have stability at quarterback. You want to have stability at quarterback. So the good thing that I've learned in my past experience here, in a few years, is we've learned how to adapt to different styles of quarterbacks, but that's not the ideal situation, right? So we, Mr. Tepper, Scott, myself, have to commit to what's our blueprint, how are we going to maintain stability at quarterback, make a plan, and then execute that plan.
So what is the plan? We'll discuss that on the other side. They can re-sign Sam Darnold to a bridge contract. It's not like there's going to be a huge demand for Sam Darnold on the free agency market. They can try to pull some sort of deal. They can go to the highest bidder route, because obviously Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be pulling in some cash. Derek Carr is going to be pulling in some cash.